Hello Dave is brought to you ad-free by my supporters on Patreon. Become a Patreon yourself and get your name listed as a supporter at the end of every video by following the link in the video description.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hello Dave. It is once again Monday, and of course that means it's time to have a look at what's going on in Elite and on the channel. Let's start with Elite. The new bug report issue thing has been launched by Frontier. It's located at issue.frontierstore.net. A little interesting that they put it under the store domain. I would have thought that would be something they would host under maybe one of the forum domains, under the domain name, just at like issue@frontier.net or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, it is there, and I've had a little poke around over there to see what it's all about. It seems what it is when you post a bug report now on the new issue tracking, which it basically is. It will first go into like a confirming mode where other players can go in and they can then see the report, and they can then go in and say I can reproduce it, and then show, you can upload like screenshots or whatever you want to do to document that you've been able to reproduce the bug. And once a certain number of players have reproduced the bug, then it seems to go into like kind of a voting system where you can then vote for which ones you feel is more important than others. They will be ranked, and it helps Frontier then to locate the most I won't call them most serious bug, but at least the bugs that are most annoying to the community, because those would hopefully be the one that gets the most votes. And of course also would have multiple people confirming it. It ensures that it's just like not just some freak coincidence, something happened, maybe a hardware failure on that person's computer or something like that. And you can think about what you want regarding Frontier basically using the player base as a QA team. I think this is Frontier realizing that Elite has become such a big and complex game, and there's so many different game mechanics now, that it's simply not possible for them to go out and verify every single bug report. Because obviously before they can begin to fix a bug, they need to verify and need to actually ensure that it is a reproducible bug. Because it's very difficult to test a non-reproducible bug. If you can't, even though it's only something that happens from time to time on very special conditions, you need to be able to reproduce it in order to ensure that you actually fixed it. So I guess having multiple people confirming before it goes to the voting system, it seems that some bugs can, I don't know how, there's not that much over there just yet. It is just launched, but I could see this grow really quickly in terms of the number of reports over there when people begin to use it. At least the old bug report form was used quite extensively. So, but anyway, I really recommend you go over and you have a look and see what's there, and put in your votes for what you think is some of the most important bugs. And if you can't find it there, well, you should maybe consider making a report over there documenting whatever bugs you want fixed. But yeah, but as I said, there is the whole issue with Frontier using the big player community as a QA team. But to be honest, even though it's not preferable, I mean, this is really, I mean, they should probably have their own QA team doing this, and they probably have. But it's clearly not big enough, since they have to employ the player community. So even though it's not ideal, I would much rather see this. If that means we're gonna have bugs fixed quicker, and that they can focus on the most important bugs first, well, then it's okay in my book. I mean, if the end result is that we get a better game with less bugs, then I'm happy. But anyway, give it a go, have a look at it. There might be some interesting bugs over there. I spotted at least a few that I didn't know of, like something with pips being reset incorrectly when switching from SRVs and other stuff. So you can go and you can have a look at that over there. In other news, more on the channel, which is not directly related to Elite Dangerous, I on Saturday launched a video where I was out talking to a group close to Copenhagen called CHP-suborbitals. if you haven't watched the video yet, I really recommend you do. It was really awesome. It was one of the first like get out interviewing kind of people videos, which I've been talking about before. Something I really want to do more of. Go out and find cool things or cool like companies or groups or places that has something to do with either space, astronomy, or gaming, which is pretty much the main topics that I cover on the channel, of course. But anyway, the CHP-suborbital guys, if you haven't watched the video, it's a group of guys who in their spare time builds space rockets. And I'm not talking like these model rockets that you see people, they fly a few, maybe a few thousand feet if they're really big. No. These guys actually try to make a manned rocket and send it up into a suborbital trajectory above the Kármán line. So basically send a man up into space. And of course, return him or her back to Earth. They have two people who they haven't decided who's going to fly it. But anyway, I was talking to them. It was really, really awesome. And it was so cool to see like this workshop where people basically just building like space-worthy rockets from like material you could go down to your local like DIY store and buy. And it's one of the things that they talk about, the fact that they don't have access to all these fancy materials that are being used, especially when it comes to the engines. So they have to really manage, especially the heat. So because obviously you would normally build space engines or something that can really withstand a lot of heat, especially the chamber walls, the inside of the chamber, or combustion chamber. But they don't have access to that kind of material, so they have to come up with other solutions. And I think if I need to summarize what they're doing, it is really to come up with other solutions, because they're facing so many difficulties that the normal space agencies, they're just solving by throwing enough money at it and then getting some fancy material that will then solve the problem for them. But obviously this is like, it's a non-profit organization. People do this in their spare time. They don't get paid. It's something they do, well, for fun. So they're all volunteers, and they purely live from crowdfunding, having a support group that supports them. It was awesome, and it's definitely a group that I'm going to follow, and I'm already talking to them about coming out again when they're. I think I will try to get something going with them when they're getting a little bit closer to doing some of the first engine tests on their 100 kilonewton engine, which is that's a lot of power, 100 kilonewton. They're gonna do some static tests with that in I don't know when exactly, but when they're ready for it, I will definitely try to get the camera out there and get some footage, because I mean, who wouldn't want to see a 100 kilonewton engine being test fired for the first time, especially when it's something built by, well, a group of guys building it in their spare time. So that was absolutely awesome. I'll put the link for the video up in the more info icon if you want to see it. I really recommend that you go out and you do that if you haven't seen that video already. The last thing I want to mention this week is, of course, Livestream. Tomorrow is once again an open Livestream, meaning that you guys can come along. I posted some info about it over on the news channel on my Discord server. Link for that in the description below. So if you want to join, the information over there. What we'll be doing is we'll be heading out to a spot in a canyon, and everybody will bring one or more SRVs, and we'll basically do some hill climb racing. I found a nice canyon wall that's fun to drive up. It's doable. I've done it, so I know that you can get up. But basically, we're going to try to see who can get from the bottom of the canyon up to the top of the canyon the quickest. That's the idea, at least. And I'll figure out something with timing. It depends how many people shows up. If it's a lot of people, we might have to do it in like small groups. So we send up like 2, 3, 4, 5 people at a time. But if we're a fewer people, then we might just send people up one at a time, or maybe we'll send up everybody at once. I don't know. I'll probably do a few runs myself, but other than that, I'll of course make sure to bring my fighter along, so I can use that as a camera drone, which I usually do, so we can get some cool shots of that. So I really hope that you guys want to join, participate. If you want, again, it's all taking place over on Discord. And if not, then you're of course more than welcome to tune in and watch some SRVs rolling down the side of a canyon. And if we're lucky, we might also see 1 or 2 explode at the bottom. Of course, it's taking place both here on YouTube, on Twitch. It is tomorrow, and it is now at 7 o'clock in-game time, because daylight savings switched an hour. So it's 7 o'clock in-game time. So yeah, I hope I'll see you then. But I'm gonna call it. That's gonna be it for this week. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.